Hey guys, Christine here, and I'm really glad you're here today because today we're diving back into the scrap bin, and we're going to pull out of that bin such lovely things as this little mini journal, which was made with all scrap papers, book pages, and scrap cardboard and the like. Very simple, and what will delight many of you more than possibly should is that it's a no-sew project. You don't have to sew this, and you can still wind up with this cute little mini book. So there's this version, which is sort of like old-fashioned ledger style, and then there's this version, which fits into an Altoids container. And same thing, this is a playing card, little different things. This one I've decorated a little bit more. But you see, it's just really scrap. So I should mention, because it's in all of our interests if I do, that I do have kits that make these, and they're carefully designed, color coordinated, and that you might want to check out. So, but you don't need these. We're doing it today with scraps. So to that end, let's think about, what do you have in your scrap bin or on your shelf or under your desk or wherever you keep your stuff that could be used for this project. Basically, any cards, playing cards definitely, flash cards, bingo cards, any card stock. It can be generic, it could be just whatever you have. You can print things onto cardstock. You can do all sorts of things that way to create what will be your covers. As far as the innards and the signatures or the pages, any piece of paper you have in your bin of scraps that is 4 by 3 3/8, which is not very big. And let's face it, we all cut down 12 by 12s and wind up with these kinds of little castaway pieces. That's big enough to become a page in your mini junk journal. So consider that, take a look at what you've got, and now let's go through it and I'll show you how it's done. We're going to need interior pages, and they are going to need, they are going to need to be 4 inches wide, each spread, 4 inches wide by 3 3/8. So I'm going to pick up some scrap. That's too short. That might be useful. And thin is fine. Thin is actually good for this. Let's see. That'll work, right? That's 4. Yep, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. This will be fine. Also fine. So I'm getting a bunch of candidates together, and that will certainly be fine. How are we doing here? Oh, that's just going to make it. That'll be great. Again, I want the finish, nope, too skinny, or too narrow. I want the final size for each spread to be the 4 inches wide, having two 2-inch pages, plus a height of 3 3/8. So I'm going to take these papers now and just cut them up into those sizes, and I shall return. All right, I have my pages cut to size, and now we are just going to fold them in half with on the 4-inch side, so it'll create 2-inch pages. Okay, so on the slightly longer side, we're going to fold them in half. Okay, so you can see I have now folded my pages with the decorative side in, and you can see this one I flipped over. This I had printed on some scrap paper, and I actually want to use that in the page versus this side, so I refolded that in. Unlike this one, which this one I'm going to keep that way. Actually, no, let's fold it both in, so this will be on the page showing. All right, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's plenty. You can hear that? That is a manure truck. I live out in the cornfields of Vermont, and it's that time of year for them to stink up the place. Okay, so I don't need 11. I probably only need like 8. So let me just take These are dark. I'm going to save that one and that one. Those are going to be, quote, our end papers. And then I'm going to use these lighter ones as pages. That's medium dark. Good. Okay, well, we're using those, so that's great. Okay, so now you sort of want to put them in an order you like, because essentially we are going to glue them together, so that this is going to be one spread, and that's going to be another. And then think about, well, what would you like next to that? I'm going to put this and this and this, that, and this. Okay. All right, so now all we have to do is what I said, glue them together. And I'm going to use this. Now here too, I would just as happily use spray adhesive or glue stick. But in the interest of time, let me clean this off. I'm simply going to take a little glue. Again, you want to get it up to the edges, and take your next piece and you're going to glue it right on. Now, we want to keep our folded edges tidy. They don't have to be perfect, but they have to be reasonable. Like, you don't want to get them too wonky. Okay, so now I'm going to do this. And now we do the next. Now this one looks weird because it has a different color side, but that's because I'm going to keep this side in. So now I'm going to just glue. Again, mindful of our folded edges, that they're reasonably tidy. You see what's happening here? All right, so on we go. All right, so then once you have them glued together, and I think I did 8 of them, you do want to go in and make sure that there's no glue holding any spreads closed. Like here, seems to be. Nope, that's supposed to be closed. All right, looks good. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put this page to here. This is going to be my end papers. This is what's going to attach to the covers. So I'm going to put one of those on each side. Okay, that looks good. Now I'll put one on the back. A scrap of marbled paper would be really pretty here too. Okay, so there, my book opens this way and this way. So now we need to decide what shall be the cover. And there are lots of options for this little scrapbook. You could use, as I'm going to, playing cards. I think that's supposed to come. I can never tell if that one, yeah, there's stuck together. You want to keep kind of urging them open. Okay, so now I'm going to use playing cards. No, not the horsey. I'm going to use, I think, this fellow. Yeah. And then on the back, well, since it's going in here, I probably could put another, I do have another one of these. That could be the back, or I have other cards, you know, I could have the same back, or I could have a green back, or, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And the horse isn't going to happen. New York World's Fair. a cute little, oh, I like that. A nice little, what do you call it? The English tutor. That could be a cute back or front. Either way, or just a pattern. Or we could use cut up flashcards. And I also have, oh, I like this. This. I'm going to use this as my back. Yes, definitely. Okay, so this is going to be the back of my book. This is going, one of these I think will be the front. Now, you can attach them to heavier stock if you want. I'm just going to use the playing cards as they are, and the back, this bingo card as it is. Now it happens that my Milton Bradley Company version is exactly 3.5, and that's the size we want for our covers. We want 2.25 by 3.5, and that's what this is cut down to. Now, one thing I didn't do and should have is, yeah, I seriously should have already have cut these corners, because now it's going to be tricky. That was my fault, my mistake. But we're going to try to do it now, because you know, if we want it to fit into the tin, everything has to have round corners if it's going to be of the same size. So I'm going to stick it in here, and there's no way this chomper is going to go through all this paper. But it can make a mark, so I know where to cut myself. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So back when you had folded these, you should have trimmed all the corners. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, and then these corners obviously can come apart, so that's much easier. So now I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you how I'm going to get rid of those corners. So now, go ahead, and I'm just going to round the corners. One spread at a time, or maybe two. All my corners are rounded. And again, because the glue is still drying, we do have to separate the pages just to make sure. Like there's glue in this page, I can feel it. So you want to go in there and clean that up. But now, so now we have these strange corners that I should have chomped before we got this far, before we glued anything together. But now, since we've actually put in the marks, we know where to make the curve. And this is going to wind up, actually, there we go. Okay, that will be fine. Now we have to find our covers. So what did I say I was doing? I was using this guy as my front and this guy as my back, but it needs chomping. This one looks like it's already been chomped. 2 and just about 1/4 by 3.5, yeah. All right, and of course, if we're going to do any inking, now would be the time. We'll give it a little ink. And here too, why not? Okay, so now we just need some glue on this side. And we want to center this, so we can put it on this way and then flip it over and center it. Now we want to cheat a little bit toward the binding side, toward all the folds, so that when you open your book, the front and backs don't hit. So now I'm going to put this on this side. I did put that right side up. Yes, Jack should be climbing up the beanstalk. And now we just the same thing. We're going to put this here, and here's where we want to sort of cheat a little bit more toward the forward edge. And this one is a little bit bigger. I'm going to trim that down. My card was a little bit smaller than my other card. So I'm going to take another one and trim this down. Again, I'm using the 1/2 inch, the largest chomper. Let's add some fresh glue to here. And now, again, with our newly trimmed cover. And we can ink it while it's drying. Now, here's where you just need to decorate this, right? But as you can see here, that's not our end paper. Come on. There we go. So now we have all of our pages. That one jelly plate page really is being a booger. Everything else is fine. This page has glue in it. Right there. There we go. Let's see if we can get some of that glue off. So this page stops sticking together. There we go. Beautiful. There you have it. All with scraps. This really cute little book. Now again, you could put things like pockets here, so we could do that. We could say, let's make that a pocket. I have some extra pieces of paper here. I'm going to cut this. Sorry about the head. And let's do the 1/2 inch on each side. And oh, it's page size, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. So we want a bigger piece because I want it to cover, if I'm going to do this, I want it to cover this part. So we could do it with another card, absolutely. And then a little glue, use skinny glue. And this should be fine, just go around these edges. Make sure that it's not sticking out the front. And let that dry, and then there'll be a little pocket there. And again, same thing, you could put one on the back, and that will cover up some of the end paper. But there it is. There it is. See, a little bit of pocket area. Perfect for little tiny cute things that we can just keep in there. So again, I mean, it's screaming for decoration, like maybe a label. And then inside you can do collage, or you can just use it as a notepad. But now you can see all of our pages are behaving as they should. And we used up a bunch of scraps, and we have a cute book that will in fact fit in our Altoids container. There you have it.